Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 42 of the Local to Global here with the Canadian Wrestling Coalition. Now, of course, last episode, the episode was titled Peaks and Valleys, and I have to say, it was just that. You know, we had ups, we had downs, we had some pretty decent matches. I think we had, what was it, our third best match? Fourth best match? Something like that? Let's have a look here. Oh no. We had a good match. let's just say that. But anyway. So moving on from that, we also had some pretty bad things that happened. Of course, the negotiations with Hollywood Brett Starr didn't go to plans. Looking back on it since the last episode, I kind of feel like I probably should have just offered more money. Because even if we spent about $100,000, while it is a lot of money for us to try and recover from financially, you know, that $100,000 less profit for us going forward, in the long run, once we're up to bigger levels on pay-per-view, the financial side of things will take care of itself. And the downside is we lost amazing talent, both inside the ring and, of course, on the microphone as well, that could very easily get himself over. Now, it's worth mentioning that this was also in the last episode, but we have Princeton Price here, and as you can see, I have to say it's a little bit sweeter, this signing. And I say that because he is currently with CWA. Now, he's not Canadian, which is kind of, I don't want to say unfortunate, but it'd be just that little bit sweeter if he was Canadian. Doesn't matter, he is 28, so he's actually 4 years younger than Brett Starr. And as you can see, he's about the same. The only downside is, of course, the microphone and acting. And of course, Hollywood Brett Starr, he's much better at both of those. So that's the only real unfortunate part. But I think getting Princeton in, not only is his contract cheaper, as you can see, it's only $40,000 per month. And we're only giving him a 20% bonus per event. So we're essentially saving ourselves, even if we had the other contract accepted, $30,000 per month. But we're also getting a guy that's 4 years younger. So that we've got 4 years more to play with him, if that makes sense. You know, while he's still at his best. Now, the other one that I was thinking about doing, which I probably should have actually looked at doing straight away, is Matt Hocking. Now, as you can see, I'm pretty certain that Matt Hocking does not start the game with primary skills that look like that. I'm fairly certain. So I think I've come to the decision. I actually kind of forgot about this, but I think we're going to try and sign him as well. For his contract, I think we'll only go 6 years. I was only going to go 5 years, but I think I want to just go 6. Purely for the fact that I just want to make sure. Let's just offer this one. I mean, we'll have to give him 20% anyway. So he wants 17,300. And we'll give him a bonus of, I guess, 10k. Kind of makes sense. And I guess we will essentially have to give him his 20% as well. That's perfectly fine. So, I mean, that still says one of 2 offers. So let's go to 19,000. Still 2 offers. So we're not going to play the silly games anymore. We're just going to keep going until we have the... Yeah, so now we have the better of the 2 offers. Okay, so there we go. Offer made. The thing is, I'm not a big fan of Matt Hocking, but I just feel like he's way too good to pass up. He's also got better microphone ability, or better entertainment skills, if you will, compared to Princeton Price. But again, he's actually 6 years older. But I think getting both of them in, I mean, Hocking can pretty much go straight to our main event. Yeah, I mean, obviously some of those other ones coming off of last episode as well. Let's just advance 2 days, because I'm assuming TCW will want to try and keep Matt Hocking there as well. Anyway, really looking forward to this episode. I mean, the title of the episode is, of course, the burial of Mighty CAVANAGH. And of course, what happened last episode as well, I forgot to mention this actually, but Mighty CAVANAGH, in the last show that we actually ran in Alberta, the TV show, he was in the main event with the GOAT himself, Davis Wayne Newton, and CAVANAGH decided that he would like to watch a move. He's 40 years old and felt like watching a move in a main event on our current world champion and our current best worker. So I feel like that was pretty fitting from CAVANAGH. He's been a bit of a nuisance for quite some time now, really. Alright, so they've gone up to just under 20,000. So I think we're probably going to need to at least go to maybe 23. Yeah, still going to need to bump it up a little bit more. Let's go 25k. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be good enough, to be honest. Let me just chuck this up to 20,000 as well. Alright, 27k. Like, we're going through the motions at this point. Alright, so 27k seems to be a pretty good point for him to accept. We've also got Flying Jimmy Fox, but he is 43 years old, so yeah, Jimmy Fox is definitely past it. Yeah, I think we're gonna take a miss on that one. That's perfectly fine. And yeah, let's just keep advancing. So we've actually got the TV show up in 2 days, so that'll be fine. I'm really looking forward to getting both these guys in, though. Both Princeton Price and, of course, Matt Hocking as well. I kind of feel like they both will more or less go straight into the main event. I feel like it's almost a little bit unfortunate for a guy like Graham Gorman, who doesn't have the entertainment skills required to really be a main eventer in our company. He's super, super talented in the ring, so we know he can put on a really good match. And I almost see that as a bit of a downside to him. I only say that because he doesn't have those entertainment skills. So I know that he's good for a match. And I think that he's only good for a match. And that's essentially going to leave him without, you know, ever really going up to the main event and becoming a champion, essentially. Anyway, here we've got Siale Valhalla, who is a big boy. Pacific Tongan, looks like a bit of a badass. He's also pretty good, a little bit low on the psychology, but I don't know. I feel like we don't really need him, to be honest. He is actually in a tag team with Zeus, which I find pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't think we really need him. Anyway, Laura Catherine Huggins, her contract has finally run out. I was very tempted to bring her in. And I mean, considering that she's actually dating Matt Hocking, I mean, it almost seems like a pretty easy decision to actually make. She's still dating him. I just had to double check that. Because, of course, sometimes they can cheat on each other and break up. But I have to say, we might as well just bring her in, to be honest. I mean, if he's coming in, she may as well come in as well. I guess the thing is, do I need to get her... I was going to say, do I need to get her on a written deal? I kind of just feel like a handshake deal would be better off for us. It's so much cheaper. It's literally only going to be $300 per appearance, which is definitely going to save us some serious money. We'll have to pay travel costs, but I mean, it's really not that bad. 300. She'll even take less. She'll take 15% merchandise cut, which is actually decent. So yeah, we're gonna get her in. I mean, I guess she'll be with Matt Hocking. I was kind of considering putting Matt Hocking into Faith No More, but then at the same time, that doesn't really work because obviously the stable is named after Matty Faith, and Hocking would probably have to be a leader, at least for the start of his CWC career. Anyway, we've got Rock and Ryan Turner here being brought before Wrestlers Court, apparently making a mess backstage and not cleaning it up, and of course the judge, jury, and executioner there for Angry Gilmore. He's really taken the sort of locker room leader role to heart, and yeah, apparently made him buy drinks for everybody. We got a small positive impact there for Rock and Ryan Turner as well. And then we've got Doc Hammond passing on tips on using psychology to his protege, Chip Martin. He's also pretty good, but not exactly too necessary. Anyway, one thing I do want to do, let's try and medal. I know CAVANAGH is going to be leaving us rather soon. And it's backfired. Strong dislike between Davis and CAVANAGH. Alright, well, if he wasn't already leaving, which he is, he's definitely going to be leaving right now. Well, not right now, but this is, I guess, the start of the burial. Speaking of the burial, he's going to be in the main event tonight. So, I think that's pretty funny, pretty interesting that I'm actually going to, once again, essentially risk... Ooh, is he here? Yes, he is. Okay. So he's going to be taking on Mobstar, of course. CAVANAGH has been involved pretty heavily with Mobstar and the whole Unified World Title sort of storyline at the moment. So I feel like it does kind of fit, if you will. And you guys in the comment section, of course, have been putting in some interesting things as to what's going to happen to CAVANAGH. And potentially Mobstar might be taking over the crew. And I feel like that's a pretty good way to go about it. I was thinking about giving Mobstar his own stable. So the fact that he can essentially take control of the crew makes things a little bit easier. It really does. Anyway, as far as the rest of the show, I honestly have no idea what I want to do. Just wanted to double check. Okay, so we haven't done... So we did Jackpot Jordan and Taylor Norton, so we need Brett Kyle. Yeah, so let's do that match. Brett Kyle taking on Steven Parker. I think I want to have this be a draw, and I'll give you the reason why here in a second. So it's going to be scripted. It's going to be, I guess, a decisive draw. And then we're going to have interference onto Brett Kyle by Rock and Ryan Turner. And then we're going to have interference on Steven Parker by Stan Manor. So, obviously, everything that's happening now, it's all due to the storyline. We're going to have three sort of tag teams coming in. We will have to, unfortunately, keep Steven strong, which is strange because I'm pretty sure they have very similar popularity. I mean, in Ontario, they definitely do, but I guess Brett Kyle's, as my chair squeaks, overall popularity is a little bit lower everywhere else, which I guess it kind of makes sense, if you will. What else are we doing? So, what was I doing for the mid-card title? I honestly have... I think I was doing a Sono, wasn't I? Alright, so in that case, if we're doing a Sono, I think I want to have... Let's have Yuta Usono take on... I guess Zach Powerson kind of makes sense, because of course, Zach is somewhat aligned with Cooper Christie, so it's also a good match for Zach to potentially get some rub-off psychology. And not a lot of psychology being garnered there by Usono. So there's 3 singles matches. Don't really know what else. Let me go to the actual storylines. So Angry Gilmore had nobody in his storyline. What was I doing there? Of course, we were doing John Greed and Doc Hammond. So we can maybe do something there. I honestly wouldn't mind doing a match between Diaz and Goldstein, but I might keep that for next episode and have a number one contenders match. That could fall into some sort of turmoil. Because obviously out of those two we've gone around the ring, a couple of times with both of them against Davis. And if Mobstar doesn't win, not really going to be sort of any new match types between these four guys or three guys really. Anyway, up next, I think I want to have Maddie Faith team up with Charlie Corner, and they can pretty much verse. I want to say red, white, and blue, but I feel like we've kind of done this match, have we? We did a pre-show match. Let's do this one. So it's not anything too serious, but I want to give a nice victory there to Charlie. Just to, I don't know, just to continue to try and build up his sort of momentum. I feel like it'd be pretty decent. We'll also go a 6-man tag. I just want to throw together maybe a few storylines. Let's have Doc Hammond. Let's have Exclude Booked. Thin this down a little bit. So he'll take on John Greed. Would have actually been better to maybe have Maddie Faith be in this match. But I think that's perfectly fine. So let's have Jackpot in there as well. And then Taylor go on to Doc Hammond's team. And then finally, obviously we can't use Davis because of his injury. I think let's do Graham Gorman on this team as well. And I think I'll have Graham Gorman take on Angry Gilmore at the pay-per-view. So I feel like that should be a pretty good match. We'll give Doc the victory. We'll give the loss to... Who do we give the loss to? That's an interesting one. I don't want to give it to John Greed because that kind of ruins the pay-per-view. I think we cannot call this match, no. Because of Taylor. Anyway, it's perfectly fine. Should be a good match in theory. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one, not gonna lie. That'll go there. Will it? No, it'll go pre-main event in regards to matches anyway. All right, so we're at 77 minutes. Let's do some angles. So I want a Mobstar angle. So that'll go pre-main event. I then want a Davis angle because he can actually appear. He just can't wrestle, which is the problem. So that'll go post-main event, I think. Nice and simple. I then think let's have Angry Gilmore cut a promo onto Graham Gorman. And then I guess we can maybe just add him into that storyline. Not sure if that was what I was originally going to do. But I kind of feel like it is, because I don't think he's actually involved in any other storyline. Of course, we did take him out of the Wall Street Enterprises storyline, so that's an interesting one. So that'll go there. We need a Faith No More angle. Do I want to go full stable? I'm not too sure, actually. But we'll go these two at least. And we'll script them. What I might do is I might do a separate angle for the other guys. So this is Faith No More. I really like the name of that stable, though. I feel like it's a solid stable name. And, of course, they all look like rock stars. And, of course, Faith No More is essentially a rock band. So it just works. It just works. And, of course, Faith, Maddie Faith's last name. All right, what else are we doing? Let's have... You want to have Lucinda Lush cut a promo onto, I guess, Yujiro Sono. Yeah, I mean, it kind of works. Kind of works. Doesn't look like any Jack Jackson on this show, which, you know, it's not great, but it's also not terrible either. I guess we'll make this the storytelling match. I mean, it's kind of fine. All right, what else have we got? So, I guess the only other thing we could do is maybe give like a 6-minute angle to maybe Stephen Parker. Do I want to go Stephen Parker? No, let's go Rock and Ryan Turner and Stan Manor. All right, so I'm purely giving it to them because of their involvement in the match. So they're going to have an angle before the match, and I'll kind of explain what's going to happen with them and what the actual promo's sort of gonna say. We can actually give it 8 minutes. Perfect. I much prefer, for some reason, I don't know why, it's just stuck in my head that I really just want my angles to be 8 minutes long. Anyway, that looks pretty good. So I think for the pre-show, I want to do... Let's do Diaz, and he can team up with Goldstein. And they can take on Cooper Christie and Jack Jackson. Really good match. Might even give it like 16 minutes or something. Let's give it 20 minutes on the pre-show. I mean, it's literally the pre-show. I don't think it really matters. So Diaz can get a big victory there. It can be called as well. This could actually beat a lot of the matches on the actual show itself, which I think is pretty hilarious. But we're doing it anyway, and we'll see what happens. Then I think we'll do another match here as well. So who have we got left? We've got Willie LaRue. So let's have Willie LaRue take on Giant Brody. I think that'd be pretty good. Just to give Brody another win, because of course he's going into a match against Maddie Faith, so that'll also be pretty interesting. I just double checking. Willie LaRue definitely can call the match, so I like that. We will have to change the referee there. Perfectly fine. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's run the go home show. All right, so we start off with a pretty solid pre-show match, getting a 61. We have Giant Brody defeating Willie LaRue in 12:23 by pinfall with a single-handed chokeslam. Very solid. Giant Brody with a 63. And yeah, Willie just holding his own. Of course, he's only got about 28 popularity. So he's not going to be setting the world alight just yet. Sort of similar to, I guess, both Jack Jackson and Cooper Christie. Like, obviously, he's got bucket loads of potential. He's also really good at the moment. But his popularity's low. We're going to have to build him up. Similarly to how we're doing it with both those guys. And I guess much in a different fashion to what's happening for Zach Powerson as well. And there's the second pre-show match, which does really well. But we kind of figured that it would do pretty well considering who's in the match. It's a 75 rating there. And of course, we have James Diaz and Ozzy Goldstein defeating Cooper Christie and Jack Jackson in 1948 when James Diaz pinned Cooper Christie with an Asian thumb spike. Just a really good match. Very, very solid. Like I said, probably should have been on the show, if we're being honest. I'll take a quick look at the dirt sheet. Obviously, Cooper's still getting penalized for his awful gimmick. But we will try and change that. Also, had a comment in the last episode. I need to tweak Goldstein's gimmick. So I'll do that. But yeah, they're also getting penalized for inconsistency. But it's good to see that, yeah, Diaz not being penalized for inconsistency. Despite still being, you know, he's really young. I think he's, what, only 21, 22? Something like that. So if he's no longer being penalized, it's pretty good. Pretty good for the future of his career. All right, so we kick off the show with a fairly average angle. We get a 46 rated angle here to kick things off. And we have Lucinda Lush and, of course, her client, if you will, that she is managing in Cooper Christie, the current Canadian champion. And she basically cuts a promo onto Osono saying that, you know, he's up in a match against Zach Powerson, of course, Cooper Christie's good friend. And Zach is essentially going to get the job done, get a victory, and essentially ruin Osono's momentum going into their Canadian title match. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. We then go into the match, which actually does better than I thought it would. We get a 53 rating here for our opening contest. And of course, we have Yuta Osono defeating Zach Powerson in 11:49 by pinfall with an Osono face melter. Yeah, solid 53 in-ring there for Osono, and a 35, which is pretty good for Zach Powerson there as well. Not too disheartened by his performance there. Of course, Zach couldn't get the job done, but still, 12 minutes, taking Osono to somewhat of a decent limit. All right, we then go into another fairly average angle. This one only getting a 53. But of course, Charlie Corner's involved, so take of that what you will. But it is, of course, Faith No More. We got Maddie Faith and Charlie Corner. And of course, they're in tag team action up next. Their match also pretty average. We get a 52 rated match here with Maddie Faith and Charlie Corner defeating Red, White, and Blue in 11:56 when Charlie Corner pinned Americana with a corner cutter. And of course, we have Maddie Faith carrying the match. And unfortunately, we also had Americana, the 43-year-old, really off his game. So, unfortunate, but a good win. And again, we're only putting Charlie with Maddie just to get him some real momentum back. And try and make him a more viable member of our roster. And of course, the stable as well. But he will primarily serve to the storylines that Maddie Faith will be in the future. So, for example, we probably, if I had one more show, I probably would have put Charlie Corner against Giant Brody. But obviously, this is the go-home show, and I want to get him a little bit more momentum before I start doing that. So, probably the next storyline that Maddie Faith goes into. Alright, we then go into a really solid angle, this one, coming from the other two members of Faith No More, in Rock and Ryan Turner, Stan Manor, the Rock City Stars. And they get a 70 rated angle, and of course, they basically say that, they're former tag team champions, they deserve to be in the, in line for a title shot, and they don't really feel like the Moneymakers have really done all that much in the tag division as of yet. And they essentially want to be added to the pay-per-view match, make it a triple threat tag team match for the tag titles, and once again have Rock City Stars take on Young and Wasted. And of course, they basically say, you can also throw in the Moneymakers, we're not too worried about them. It's a good angle. And of course, it leads into a bit of a storytelling match, which gets a 65 rating here. And of course, we have Brett Kyle and Stephen Parker drawing with each other in 11:55 when the referee lost control and stopped the match. During the match, we also saw Rock and Ryan Turner run in and attack Brett Kyle. And of course, Stan Manor also attack Stephen Parker. So basically, it's the tag team, or one half of each tag team in our storyline here getting involved, or not getting involved, being involved in a match. And of course, the other members of the story, I guess the sort of impromptu storyline I'm going with now, also getting involved. Anyway, it's a good match. 63 for Brett Kyle and a 62 there in ring for Stephen Parker. So the match a little bit higher than their sort of in ring. Good considering there was some outside interference. All right, we then go into a 97 rated angle from Angry Gilmore. So a little bit off his sort of usual 100. But then again, his popularity is only 80 in Ontario at the moment. Yeah, he basically cuts a promo onto Graham Gorman, basically asks Graham Gorman if he's down to have a match at Nevermore, which is, of course, the pay-per-view. And yeah, Graham Gorman comes out, accepts the match, and of course they'll go into singles action at the pay-per-view, but they are on opposite teams in a 6-man tag match up next. That match definitely goes above expectations. I was kind of expecting maybe a 70, and we actually get a 79 rating for this 6-man tag, where we have Doc Hammond, Taylor Norton, and Angry Gilmore defeating John Greed, Jackpot Jordan, and Graham Gorman, which is a very interesting team. I guess you could maybe say that the previous storyline between these 3 guys here, of course, are Moneymakers and I guess all of Wall Street Enterprises having a lot of issues in the most recent months against Graham Gorman, and of course, Graham essentially costing Jackpot Jordan the match in this one, costing him the pinfall, and of course, yeah. Doc Hammond getting a big victory over Jackpot, and of course, John Greed and Doc will go at it at the pay-per-view as well. A pretty solid match. Graham the standout with a 74 in-ring performance. So, like I said, he's a real stalwart in the ring. It's just lack of microphone, lack of acting, really lets him down. Lack of star quality as well. He's not the most sort of what word am I looking for? He doesn't have the most. I don't know what I'm looking for. The most star quality. Anyway, we move on to a 93 rated angle from Mobstar. Very impressive. I think he's at, 76 popularity at the moment. So he's really getting up there. And I'm really, I have to say I was really excited for Mobstar and Davis. But now Davis is going to be injured. So we're going to have to limit it to a 20-minute match. I was going to go 30 originally, but I'm going to have to scrap that. And it's going to be pretty bad because he's going to have an injury for 20 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, the odds are definitely stacked against Davis going into this match. Anyway, very solid 93 rated promo there from Mobstar. And the main event actually tanks a little bit, which I'm not really surprised by it either. We get a 76 rated main event here. I think CAVANAGH, this will be his last main event he's ever involved in, I think. Purely for the fact that we're going to job him out. So that's a given, right? We're jobbing him out. He doesn't need to be involved in main events. He's got the morale issues. I think it's best if we just job him out, further down the card. Like, go lower and lower. Maybe James Diaz could get a victory. Who else? Maybe Graham Gorman could get a victory in there as well before we get rid of him. And then we go maybe down to the mid-card. Potentially have guys like Cooper Christie, Giant Brody get some victories. Just some up-and-coming victories. Maybe Matty Faith as well. And then once he's, a bit lower in pop, we'll potentially use Cooper. I already said Cooper. Jack Jackson can get a victory, and maybe some other guys as well. We'll see what we do, but I feel like those guys are probably the most sort of beneficial to put against him. Maybe Papa Swole as well, once he gets into that sort of mid-card range. So yeah. Anyway, we got one more angle. We got a 92 rated promo here from Davis Wayne Newton. And he basically comes out and says, the rumors are true. I've got an injury. I've been nursing it since last week. It's essentially the reason why I was not in action here tonight. I'm resting up. I'm gonna do my best. But this injury is taking its toll. And he says that Mobstar is arguably one of the most ferocious, beat you down and steal your stuff type of guys. And the fact that he's versing him at the pay-per-view kind of scares him a little bit. He's afraid of losing his title. He thinks that with this injury, he's not going to be 100%, and Mobstar's going to try and come in and basically just end him, for lack of a better term, and steal his title away. Anyway, Davis, I guess, you know, we see Davis as a heel, but I guess this could be a bit more like a babyface sort of promo. He's not turning face or anything, but I guess in this scenario, Mobstar would be the clear heel, and Davis would essentially be the babyface. So yeah. Anyway, let's finish the show. We get an 83 rated show. I mean, the angles, the 390 plus rated angles, definitely helping us out quite a bit, because that 76 was a pretty bad sort of main event there. But 83, I'm very, very happy with that, to be honest, increasing our popularity in 54 regions. So, of course, that's also in Ontario. And, I mean, if we get up to 77 popularity in Ontario, I will be very surprised, to say the least. Anyway, I think that was a pretty good show in regards to at least storytelling, I think. All right, nice. We've got Matt Hocking. There we go. 27,000. I don't really think that's all that much, to be honest. I'm pretty happy with that. Unfortunate that we're literally like what? How many is that? 74 viewers away from 400,000 viewers for Coalition Wrestling. That kind of sucks. Anyway, let's have a look at CWA. Did they actually... Okay. Yeah, so they used Princeton Price. He was in a match with David Stone taking on Thunder and Lightning for the World Tag Team titles. Pretty interesting, but I guess they're... I don't know, they trying to job him out a little bit on the way out, I guess. Potentially. I would like to get David Stone, but I feel like that'd probably be pretty hard. Who's the booker for CWA? They also got a 90 rated show there, which I noticed. Alton Vicious, is he any good? He's okay. I wouldn't mind trying to sign him to be a part of the crew. I know he's actually not available. But as you can see, he's going to be leaving the company. I might put him on the shortlist. Because if he leaves the company and he goes unemployed, we might be able to tempt him to come and work in Canada. And he would make a pretty good member. For, I mean, he could make a pretty good leader, to be fair. But he'll have zero popularity. But what we could eventually do is maybe transition Harper Swole out of the stable. Anyway, we are up to 34 popularity. Sorry, I had to cough there. 34 popularity there in Alberta. So we're 1 point away. 1 point from getting onto a pay-per-view carrier. And of course, we essentially have 1 month left. Go to broadcasting. So yeah, we got 32 days left. So just over a month once we get into this pay-per-view, which I'm looking forward to. I think it'll be pretty cool. I think we might go up to 35 pop after this next show, after the pay-per-view. I hope we will, because I'd love to get that sorted out as soon as possible. But then again, I think I'm going to sort of play it a bit more realistically as well. So we will have, I guess, one more final show with Ondem for our actual pay-per-view, or our events, if you will. That's what they call it. So, yeah, I mean, as long as it kind of lines up, I think it will. I mean, 30 days kind of makes sense for our... Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so Doc Hammond is going to retire in 3 months' time. So with that said, we need to start jobbing him out as well over the next 3 months. Yeah, so there we go. He's going to retire in 3. So we've definitely got to try and job him out as well, along with CAVANAGH. But you know what? When it comes to Doc Hammond, I like him. And of course, he's part of one of my favorite tag teams in the New Wave. I'm going to job him out respectively. Respect. He's going to be respected on his way out. Let's just say that. And we might even actually add him into our Hall of Fame. I know that he hasn't really done anything, but he's actually like the first guy that is essentially retiring at our company. I guess we could also maybe throw Art Reed into our Hall of Fame, because Art Reed was, I guess he was somewhat integral to the series. Anyway, let's get into this. We got some more meddling to do, so we'll do that. All right, we have to go on to Ondem. There we go. Who's absent? Okay, just those two. And of course, their contracts haven't actually started. Hopefully, this is Mentor. Yes! Yes, that is perfect. John Greed has taken Charlie Corner under his wing as a protege. That is perfect. That's really going to help Charlie out as well. That's awesome. I really like that as well for Charlie. Anyway, let's go Davis and let's go CAVANAGH again. No effect this time, but kind of hoping that it will backfire even further. Anyway, we're going to go into Toronto. We're already actually scheduled there, which is pretty funny. But let's book our main event first. Like I said, this is going to suck. It really sucks that we can't do this. Essentially do this match in its entirety. He's still carrying the injury, so it is what it is. I mean, it just sucks, to be honest. That's all there is to it, really. I mean, I almost also feel bad for having Mobstar lose that match, considering Davis has an injury. Like, it's another 18 days, so he'll be healthy for the next pay-per-view main event. So I guess in some ways, that's pretty good. Now, as far as the tag team title match goes, we are indeed going to have Young and Wasted take on the Moneymakers. It is going to be just a regular tag team match. We're going to give it 20 minutes, though. It can essentially have the additional 10 minutes that I was essentially going to give the main event. We are indeed going to have Brett Kyle win. However, it's going to be tainted. And once again, there is going to be more interference. So Stephen Parker is going to be attacked by Rock and Ryan Turner. And then outside interference finish onto Jackpot by Stan Manor. There we go. That's so frustrating. I'll make Jackpot the loser. Is he going to complain? Yes. All right, I want to redo this. Let me go back and change this, because let's do it the other way. So the interference will be on Jackpot by Rock and Ryan Turner. And then the outside interference finish will be onto Steven by Stan. And then we'll make Steven the loser. And we'll keep him strong, I guess. Did not mean to do that. So yeah, Stevie P gonna lose. Still extremely unhappy. Yeah, interesting. Wonder if I can do... I guess we'll do Jackpot the other way. I mean, hopefully it works. This is more just for the sake of my storyline and what I want to do. Okay, so that'll work. So I have to go back and literally change it once again, because I want it to finish a certain way. Otherwise, it just won't make sense otherwise. So Steven will go back to being attacked by Rock and Ryan Turner, and then Jackpot will be attacked. So, side interference finish by Stan Manor. Okay, So there we go. That's actually sorted out now. That was a bit of a problem. Let's go like this. So Doc will take on John Greed in a singles match. Let's just give them 12. They are both pretty old. We are going to have John Greed come out of this one looking pretty good, though. As I feel like, well, he's obviously not retiring. So even if if I was going to go Doc Hammond originally, I pretty much can't do that now. So there we go. What else have we got? Maddie Faith and Giant Brody. This is a rematch from one of the TV shows. Give this one 20. I feel like it deserves it. And it's going to be a bit of a decent victory there for Maddie Faith. Doesn't need to be overbooked, but it is going to be decisive. Hopefully, Brody will take it. He will take the loss. Okay, that actually fills me with some confidence there. Up next, well, we've got 2 more matches. We've got Graham Gorman taking on Angry Gilmore. And apparently they have chemistry. Negative chemistry. Perfectly fine though. Wish I remembered that, because I probably would have done something else. Anyway, it's perfectly fine. This one's going to go. It kind of needs to go one way. Yeah, just for the sake of sort of Gilmore, I feel like we need to try and bump his popularity back up to about 85. I think would be a decent sort of level. And then finally, the last match we really have to do is Sono and Cooper Christie for the Canadian title. Give these guys 20 minutes as well, I think. And yeah, this one Cooper's going to retain. He pretty much has to retain, really. It's not time for him to step up yet. Okay, so that's a lot of matches. That's a fair amount of matches there. Am I missing anything? I mean, not really. Yeah, not really. I mean, we'll add another tag team match in here, and we'll essentially just have the crew take on our resident jobbers, being Robin Newman and Bowden Snoop. So those boys will go in there, just for 12 minutes. They're gonna literally be the storytelling match, and hopefully the sort of mid cool down match as well. So that'll be pretty decent. I guess we can have CAVANAGH road edge in that match, because he'll probably do a pretty bad job of it. That'll go there. I think. Yeah, I mean, why not? Maybe swap it around. Yeah, let's actually swap that around. And yeah, I didn't want to do that. What I do want to do is move that up. Yes, so that looks a bit better. So we have no debuts for anybody. I would like to maybe have Diaz. Maybe Zeus. Let's try and kick things off with Zeus defeating CAVANAGH. We can just give it 10. It doesn't really need to go. What's Zeus's 56? I don't. We'll just go 10. We'll just go 10. I'm not 100% sure on the stamina there. But there we go. It's another pretty decent match. So, I mean, CAVANAGH's unhappy yet again. He's always unhappy. He's always unhappy. The thing is, I'm going to keep him strong because I want to keep him around. If I keep making him lose and, him being unhappy about the outcomes, he's going to want to leave. And he'll basically quit the company. So, we'll keep him strong, but he's going to be losing every match. So it doesn't really matter too much, does it? Okay. All right, so RM Stones is being overused. So what I'll do, I really want this match be there. Let me move this one down a little bit. Yeah, I mean that can go there. Let me swap those two around as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. We've got enough angle time. We've got what, 48 minutes maximum, so it's perfect. As far as the referee goes, we'll go you there. And then for this match, we'll go you there as well. Still not good enough. No. I guess this match can go to Dace as well. I mean, that works. Alright, let's do angles. So I want a... Yeah, we'll just go Davis. I mean, we can chuck Mobstar in there as well. Let's actually go both of them. So it'll be back and forth, back and forth. And that can advance their storyline there as well. Okay, so that's pre-main event. Pretty easy one, to be fair. Up next, I want a John Greed angle by himself. Again, just to hopefully help him out as he picks up a pretty big victory for himself against the formidable Doc Hammond. We then want a Maddie Faith angle by himself as well. Should do pretty well. Should do pretty well. What I think I might do, let me actually make Charlie Corner Maddie Faith's manager. That's his gimmick. I didn't want to do that. So manager will be Charlie Corner. Yeah, see, I feel like that works pretty well. Like, Charlie would almost be like a bit of a bodyguard. Kind of be his backup, if you will. Come down to ringside. We'll see what happens. If it backfires, we'll get rid of it, but it should be fine. What else? Cooper Christie. So, actually, let's go Deanna Desire and Yutaro Sono. I feel like we've given... We've given Lucinda and Cooper a little bit more time than Osono. And of course, I am still a big fan of Osono, so yeah, we don't want to sort of neglect him, if you will. Anyway, Angry Gilmore, as you'd expect, gonna have a nice 8-minute angle there for himself. Hopefully, get Ed to... Ooh, we get Ed to Road Agent. That one was Gilmore. I might make this one CAVANAGH. He's already road agenting that match. Ooh, this is tough. We're running out of road agent space. Because I need Ed to road agent this match. Okay, so this one, let's go Gilmore there. And then that's fine, that's fine. Alright, so the Angry Gilmore's angle obviously going before his match. Let's give Zeus an angle as well. I mean, Zeus hasn't really had too many sort of solo angles by himself, so do we get CAVANAGH to road agent his own opponent's loss and angle? I kind of like that. And then finally, let's go for a... Let's just do like a weird sort of backstage run-in. Let's go Rock and Ryan Turner, Stan Manor, Brett Kyle, Taylor Norton, and then of course we'll have Jackpot. Make sure I do Jackpot and not Jack Jackson this time, like I did 3 times last episode. And then finally Stevie Parker as well. So I think let's literally go everybody on entertainment. We'll script them all as well. Yes, literally script all of them. And that should be fine. Although we are way over our time. So what I'll do, let's lower these by a little bit. Let's lower this match by 2. We need another 2 minutes from somewhere. Yeah, we'll take it from this match. It doesn't need to be 20 minutes long. Perfectly fine. Okay, so surprisingly, we've actually got 2 6-minute angles, which you wouldn't really expect to see from me. Anyway, there we go. Let's do some other matches. So let's have a tag match between Zach Powerson, Jack Jackson, and they can take on the Rock City Stars. Do I want? No, I don't want them to do that. Let's have them take on Los Hermanos 3. Give him a decent amount of time. Give Jackie Boy the victory there. Of course, need to change a few things there. All our pre-show matches can be with Robinson as the road agent. Next match, let's go for Diaz, Goldstein, and maybe Willie. And they can take on Doomsday Generation and Zombie Boy. I feel like that's pretty cool. Pretty cool match to do. And we'll definitely we'll call this match as well, because obviously it's going to help out some people. Actually, let's give the victory to Willie. I don't want his momentum to really suffer. But there we go. That'll be our second pre-show match. Should be the better of the two. And, I mean, honestly, I think that's pretty good. I don't really need to do any more pre-show matches there. Actually, we'll do one more. We'll do one more. We haven't used Feel Good Inc. in a while, so let's have them take on the Rock City Stars. There we go. Double checking there's no one else I really need to use. I mean, Jack Pride, probably, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, going to be a good match here as well. And of course, we want to keep some momentum going. So let's give the victory there to the Rock City Stars, of course. On the pre-show. Okay, that should be good. Let's run it. So we've got 3 pre-show matches, the first of which getting a 52 rating. We have Zach Powerson and Jack Jackson defeating Los Hermanos 3 in 11:37 when Jack Jackson pinned Marco Gonzalez with an implant DDT. And of course, Zach Powerson was the weak link. Yeah, it's a pretty good match. 49 there from Jackson. And a pretty solid 52 from Marco as well. Alright, we then go into a 60 rated tag team match on the pre-show with the Rock City Stars defeating Feel Good Inc. in 11:41 and Stan Manor pinned Gary Walker with a rock and roller. And yeah, Zippy Deverell was really off his game. But Gary Walker actually performing to the same level as both members of the Rock City Stars. And our final pre-show match, big 6-man tag, getting a 66 rating. And we have James Diaz, Ozzy Goldstein, and Willie LaRue defeating Forces of Darkness, of course, Sinner, Lester, and Zombie Boy in 12:17 when Willie LaRue pinned Original Sinner with a reverse DDT. And of course, Sinner was the weak link. Unfortunately, Goldstein was off his game, but luckily it's only the pre-show, so nothing really too affected there. Alright, we then start the show off with an 87, yes, 87 rated angle from Zeus Maximilian. Gotta say, Zeusy Boy, pretty impressive. Even without Davis by his side. Doing some interesting things there, so I'm pretty happy. He is the first member, or well, I guess technically the second member behind Mobstar to kickstart the burial of Mighty CAVANAGH. And that match is pretty bad. We get a 60 rated match here. Definitely should have been a lot better. But as you can see, Zeus Maximilian defeated Mighty CAVANAGH in 9:55 by pinfall with a Thunderbolt. 72 in ring for Zeus and a 66 for CAVANAGH. So as you can see, keeping him strong has really affected this. Yeah, so CAVANAGH low morale, declining physical ability, inconsistency for Zeus, and no storyline as well. But it should have still been better. You know, keeping him strong probably hurt the match rating quite a bit. All right, we then move into a 69 rated angle. Of course, we have the three sort of tag teams in our storyline that we're running with at the moment. They all have a run in backstage, of course. Young and Wasted are taking on the Moneymakers in the tag team title match up next. But they all have a big run in. Big argument, of course. Rock City Stars taking a lot of choice words by both the other two teams, essentially for getting involved in their match on the Go Home show. And basically thinking that the Moneymakers don't deserve the tag team title shot, and that they do. So 69 is pretty good. I'm happy with that. Of course, everybody was rated on entertainment as well, but they were all scripted, so it's decent. And of course, advancing 3 storylines there as well. Alright, so we then go into a 76 rated tag team match there, and I have to say, that's probably one of our best ever tag team matches from our actual tag team division, if you know what I mean. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I feel like our tag division is really starting to sort of kick itself up a notch. Of course, 3 out of 4 of these guys are on a written exclusive contract as well, so the future is bright, even though this team is pretty old. Anyway, we do have Young and Wasted defeating the Moneymakers in 20 minutes 10 seconds when Brett Kyle pinned Jackpot Jordan with a shooting star press following interference from Stan Manor. During the match, we also had Rock and Ryan Turner run in and attack Stephen Parker. And Young and Wasted make defense number 3 of the CWC Coalition Tag Team titles. So a very impressive victory there. Good stuff. And again, I mean, it's not exactly impressive in storyline purposes, but the fact that it's a 76 rated match makes it impressive to me. And of course, it advances the storyline. So as you can tell, we're going to run with the triple threat tag team match. Part of me wants to potentially, I want to do it in a ladder match, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to do it in a ladder match because OnDem don't let us have, you know, risky type matches. But of course, we're going on to pay-per-view, and I believe pay-per-view broadcasters allow you to do ladder matches, or at least most of them do, depending on their sort of risk level. I'm almost inclined to potentially, I don't know, almost wait a month. We could maybe do something with the Moneymakers, and maybe actually we could, I have an idea. I have an idea for next episode. So we're actually going to delay that triple threat. The overall storyline is going to continue for the next, I guess the next 2 months really. Yeah, really good match. Very happy with that. Jackpot with a solid 75. Taylor and Stephen Parker with 69s. And Brett with a good enough 66 there as well. Of course, both teams getting a tag team specialist bonus. Alright, we then move into a 100 rated angle from Angry Gilmore. Why I said I was a little bit surprised to sort of see him only get a 97, the TV show, but back to a 100, of course, the telecommentary and announcing both very weak compared to his superior skill. And of course, he's going into a bit of an impromptu match against Graham Gorman. Not exactly a lot of build behind it. But either way, even though they have negative chemistry as well, I still feel like it's going to be a pretty good match. 70 or above, easy. And there we go. Proves me right. 78 rated match. And we have Angry Gilmore defeating Graham Gorman in 9:36 by pinfall with an anger management. And there you can see, they don't seem to click for a mate, and it made for an awkward bout. But these two guys are just that good that they really outperformed it. A 78 rated match for 10 minutes. Graham Gorman with a 69 in ring and Angry Gilmore with only a 60. So this must have been expertly booked, I guess. I don't know. That's a weird one, because that seems a hell of a lot higher than their in-ring performance. Anyway, moving on to a 62 rated angle from Deanna Desire and her boyfriend Yuta Osono. Of course, they're in action up next. Basically, Deanna says that Yuta is going to get the job done. You know, he already beat Zach Powerson on the Go Home show. He beat up one of his friends, and now it's Cooper Christie's turn, and Osono is going to become the Canadian champion. The match does okay. I mean, that's about what I'm kind of expecting at a minimum, sort of from my mid-carders at the moment. So 67 is pretty good. Like I said, that's, if I can continue to get 67 rated mid-card matches, I'll be very happy. Anyway, we do have Cooper Christie defeating Yuta Osono in 18-16 by pinfall with a top rope elbow drop, and Cooper Christie making defense number 1 of the CWC Canadian title. So it's a good match. 64 in-ring for Cooper there, 54 for Osono. A little bit low for Osono there, but still good enough to get a much better sort of overall match rating itself. And of course, we got our first defense there for Cooper Christie as our mid-card title holder. Good stuff. All right, we then move into our sort of calm the crowd match, getting a 46, which is actually not too bad. It's kind of doing its job, bringing the crowd back down a little bit. As you can see, the Crew defeated Robin Newman and Bowden Snoop in 10:07 when Public Enemy pinned Robin Newman with a tombstone piledriver. And then, of course, Papa Swole was head and shoulders above everybody else in the match. Moving on to an 80 rated angle from Maddie Faith, being superb, working without a script. Basically, he says tonight that he wants to get some revenge against Giant Brody and essentially, you know, win back that loss that he suffered on TV a few weeks ago. He feels like it's kind of a bit of a blemish on his positive start in the coalition. And of course, he says that you know, he wants to also win or continue to win the respect of his fellow stablemates in Charlie Corner, Ryan Turner, and Stan Manor. The match does about what I expected. Interesting again, this is a really good match. We get a 74 match rating here, but only a 62 and a 65 in-ring performance from both workers. So pretty well booked for a 20-minute match. But we do have Maddie Faith defeating Giant Brody in 1951 by pinfall with a leap of faith. Good match. Really good match. I'm assuming there probably wasn't any negatives, really. Well, there was. It was literally just inconsistency for both of them, which you don't really see very often. So I'm actually pretty happy with that, as long as it's only those two. All right, we then move into an 85 rated angle from John Greed. I feel like he wasn't getting angles rated that highly before. So I find that interesting. That could do some pretty big things. Along with this next match, I feel like that could really help out his popularity. And I guess bring him back up to the leadership level of popularity we need for Wall Street Enterprises. Anyway, let's have a look at the match. Does pretty well, gets a 72. Again, still a lot higher than the actual in-ring performances. And we do have John Greed defeating Doc Hammond. Of course, Doc is going to retire. 3 months is all we've got. He beat him in 12-23 by pinfall with a crash diet. So big win. Big win, big angle as well for John Greed. 62 in-ring there for Doc and a 63 for John. Take a look at the dirt sheet here. So both for declining physical ability, which I guess we already kind of knew about, and inconsistency there for John Greed. But it's perfectly fine. There was no stamina there, so 12 minutes is okay for both these guys, which is pretty interesting. Anyway, it's a good match. I'm happy with that. We move on to only an 83 rated angle, which is interesting. I wonder if... Let's have a look at the dirt sheet. Yeah, I mean, everything looks pretty good there, to be fair. Apart from the poor announcing, but... See, the Unified World title, it says the storyline has low heat. But I know for a fact that this storyline does not have low heat. 83, like it would be hot. Anyway. The match itself actually does pretty good considering the circumstances. We get an 83 rated main event for our pay-per-view here for Nevermore. And we have Davis Wayne Newton defeating Mobstar in 20 minutes and 6 seconds by submission with an STF. And we have Davis Wayne Newton, the GOAT himself, making defense number 5 of the CWC Unified World title. Just think for 1 second how good this match could have been. I don't want to say it would have gotten a 100 rating, but there is a possibility that it could have got a 99 or a 100. I mean, it got an 83 with an injured Davis Wayne Newton. He got an 88 in-ring performance, injured. Mobstar getting an 82 there as well. If he wasn't injured, it was 30 minutes, slow build, decisive victory, hot storyline. I mean, who knows? Who knows what match rating we would have gotten? Once again, though. Alright, so the crowd was starting to get burned out. Okay, that kind of makes sense a little bit. I guess maybe I should have like a calm the crowd match 2 matches before the main event. And then obviously the next match will bring them back up. And then I guess the main event will be done to a hot or very hot crowd. But yeah, as you can see, lack of heat from the associated storyline. And once again, low heat for the storyline. Don't understand. Don't understand. Anyway, it's an 83. It's still pretty good. We end the show. We get an 84 for the overall show rating, which I think is respectable. Ooh, that's not good. There is now 3 American regions that are not getting growth. So that's bad. But I guess we still got popularity increase in Ontario. And hopefully we got the popularity increase in Alberta. Almost forgot the region. Anyway, I want to praise Davis. Don't really know who else to praise because I don't really think anybody else has any. Right, let's go John Greed. 100% John Greed. Really good promo. Good match as well. I mean, solid enough. And we'll make him happy. Yeah, I don't get that low heat storyline. Because if I show you the storyline in a second here, it will literally be hot. Like, there is no way. Just don't understand. Anyway. Ooh, Hugh to Ask. The Dread Pirate. It's 35 as well, so he's actually getting on a bit as well. I mean, he's super talented as well. Just like all the other guys. It seems like TCW just have all the best wrestlers. It really just seems like that. Or like they're developing their skills because all the other workers there are really, really good. I mean, he's not going to be that expensive either. How long's that contract? It's only 3 years. So what I kind of want to do is just offer a contract. Just, like, purely for the reason of trying to drive up the price for TCW. That's like literally the only reason why I'm putting this offer in. So let me go. I guess maybe like 28,000. Yeah, so there we go. I'll put that in. I mean, I don't actually want him, to be fair, so I think honestly I might just like pull that offer back out if it actually gets accepted. Emily McQueen, I mean, she's a good manager, but she is... Ooh, what's her color commentary? It's 78. It is better than what we currently have. I don't know. I feel like there are better color commentators out there that we could eventually try and sign. Anyway, Nevermore viewing figures, 399,637. So slightly lower than the Go Home show, but that's interesting. Why is that lower? It's lower than the Go Home show. I guess maybe because we had over 43,000 in attendance. So some of the people in attendance wouldn't have been watching at home. I mean, I feel like that kind of makes sense. Anyway. Yeah, so I want to check some popularity. Let's check size. Yes, 35 in Alberta. Next episode, we are going to pay-per-view. Or, actually, I don't know. I guess not next episode. I guess it will have to be 2 episodes' time, essentially, because we are going to wait the... See, that says 29 days. That's got me a little bit worried. It should be fine. It should be fine. It should be fine. Yeah, 27 days. Okay. So yeah, we'll have our last pay-per-view with Ondam. And then in that episode, so 2 episodes time, so episode, what are we now, 42? So 44, at the end of the episode, we'll set up our new pay-per-view broadcasting deal with, of course, Canada One Choice. We are going to have to upgrade the music there as well, so that's interesting. Just more money for us to lose, but in the long run, we will also gain more money as well, so yeah. Anyway, I'm going to advance one day here. We'll suss out exactly how much money we made, and then we'll have a brief look over a few people's profiles, see the popularity gains for guys like Gilmore, John Greed as well. Definitely want to check that out. Maddie Faith, Cupid Christie. Yeah, just those types of guys. Also want to see a few other things as well. All right, so there's Laura Catherine Huggins, who is, of course, going to be the road agent. There's the Ondam deal expiring. And let's have a look at this contract offer. Okay, so they've upped it to 28,000. With that said, I don't think he's going to choose us anyway, but we'll leave our offer in there. Perfectly fine. And yeah, I mean, at least we went in for him, so he knows we're interested, even though I don't really care. What else? All right, so profit. All right, we made a decent amount of money this month, nearly 100,000 on top of what we made the previous month. So $765,000 basically. The attendance, actually, the ticket sales were essentially exactly the same, and we literally ran a free ticket show in Alberta. So we've essentially missed out on a lot more profit there, I think, because we would have sold another about 9,000 to 10,000 tickets. Interesting. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much. Looking through, obviously worker costs has gone up a little bit more, but yeah, that really kind of seems to be about it, really. Yeah, I mean, that's a good month. We've got 7.4 million in the bank as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. We're edging our way towards 10 million, which I think is actually a pretty good goal to have at the moment. Anyway, let's have a look at some profiles here. Angry Gilmore is up to 82 popularity there, which is very good to see. And of course, he beat Graham Gorman, who is at 68. I think he might have lost. No. He actually gained 1 point over the course of the month. So that's actually really good. Jack, I don't think, has gained anything. Yeah, still at 42, but we didn't really use him that much, so can't really be too worried about that. Who else have we got? Let's go through. So Giant Brody, 52. Yeah, so he lost 1 point, probably due to the pay-per-view loss, I would say. I'm assuming Jackpot probably lost a little bit as well. Yeah, he lost 2 points as well over the course of the month. Which isn't terrible, but it's not really ideal either. Although, I mean, Giant Brody lost 1 point. But it looks like, yeah, wow. Matty Faith gained 7 points of popularity last month. He's up to 53. Looking like he's going to probably surpass the mid-card here. He's already starting to get up into that upper mid-card level. And I mean, once we put him against CAVANAGH, who did lose a point of popularity there, I think we'll be better off. Anyway, Mobstar did actually gain quite a bit of popularity. So he gained 2 points over the course of the month there. 2 points in Alberta as well, which is pretty decent. So there we go. Who else have we got to look at? Public Enemy picked up a victory. So he's at 34 pop now as well. He gained 1 point over the course of the month. I feel like he is kind of really letting that tag team down a little bit, which is pretty frustrating. Yeah, I mean, 56 pop there. 5 points of popularity for Taylor. That's actually a lot. What about Brett Kyle? He's at 55, so he would have gained about the same. Yeah, 5 points of popularity for our tag team champions. So they're definitely doing well. I think overall, this whole tag team triple threat storyline, I feel like it's going to elevate everybody. So I'm pretty happy that we're doing it. Of course, where is he? Cupid Christie. Up to 50 popularity now, which is decent. He's only up 1 point, though, from that last month. It is quite... it feels difficult with him. It just feels difficult because he doesn't really have the entertainment skills to get himself over. And then Lucinda Lush is good. She's got the entertainment skills to get him over. But she just doesn't have the popularity. So that's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one there. Anyway, Sono, 45 pop. Don't think anything happened. Yeah, still 45. Perfectly fine, though. Accidentally exited out there. Who else have we got? What about Zeus? Zeus is up to 72 popularity. He's up 3 points in the month from 69. I think he was 69 before that match as well. So by beating CAVANAGH, he gained 3 points due to his promo and the victory. And I also kept him strong for CAVANAGH, so that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. I'm actually very happy about that one. And then finally, Mr. John Greed up to 59 popularity. That's a little bit of a gain. 1 point. He did lose a couple of matches on TV, so we won't put him down too much. But at least he gained 1 point at least for the victory over Doc Hammond. Let me just take a quick look at Jackson. Yeah, it doesn't really look like anything's improving with him, so that's unfortunate, I guess. Also, he's losing, I guess because he's maybe a smoker, he's losing his some of his stamina there. That's bad. I don't like that at all. Let's have a look at Cooper as well. Probably hasn't improved in anything, obviously. Looks like he's capped or well capped at 99 basics, but I mean, everything else, it seems okay. I mean, his microphone and acting actually went up to 50, so it went up 1 point from last month. That's not too bad. And then finally, let's have a look at Zach as well. Well, Zach is the real project between all these guys here. Didn't gain a point of psychology for this month, but he did actually gain it last month, so we'll let him off there. Yeah. He went down in size, didn't he? Wonder if we could ask him to go back up. I mean, that's pretty risky. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much going to be the end of the episode, guys. Please make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already, and of course, turn on the notification bell to keep up to date with these episodes coming out in the future. Apart from that, guys, as always, take it easy, and goodbye.